He asked if you could save that form if you're halfway through it. That was the other bubble. I said 2. One bubble is to submit it, the other one is to save it. You can go back to it, you can put the information into it. Okay? Then when you click submit, it'll submit it over. One other question I want to get through Lisa's. There will be a format that does confirm that there is receipt. Then what we do is you'll be able to go back on there and find out what stage it's in. Okay? You'll be able to find out which stage it's in. Now, it's going to be a simple accept or reject type of process, and the forms will be filled out as well, where if this thing doesn't get submitted, if it doesn't meet our criteria, it's going to get rejected right off the bat. So that's the main reason for it, is it loosens the ranges here on looking at deals that just don't meet our criteria. And what we're focused on here is to look at deals that meet our criteria. And if you continue to submit deals, I mean, I have some students that have just submit deals after deal after deal after deal, and even though all the information's there for them and they have the information, they still persist to send in the same deals with the same issues. And we go over them with them and we say, look, you're still submitting in deals that do not meet our criteria because of this. Now what I've done is I put this together, and that way when they go on and they submit a deal like that, it'll get rejected right off the bat. It just won't meet the criteria. Okay? That way it completes that. It completes that process. All right. She asked if I could give you information that what doesn't meet my criteria. It's in the acquisition criteria, which is in your quick start. That's the criteria, guys. It is the acquisition criteria. You all have it. Okay, you all have it, and it should be in the back of your manual as well. Acquisition criteria. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and share something with you guys really quick here. So now that you guys have been through the process with knowing the 5 things we must know, getting to the point where we're going to be covering some additional formulas, we're also going to be covering some additional information on submitting the low-hanging fruit. I think that's going to be ongoing, because what we're going to do is go ahead and start evaluating deals here. Evaluating them is getting into the properties and seeing what is a good deal, what's not a good deal, and what we want to move on and what we want to stay away from. Now, as you know, at the beginning of this, I wanted to mention a deal to you, and this particular project, it was very large, and that's how we opened this up, was to stay away from big deal-itis, if you guys remember that. Do you remember that? Okay, that's big deal-itis. But there are also some projects here that are very large that you would like to go ahead and continue to take a look at. All right. So how large is too large, guys? That's the question. All right. How large is too large? When does it get to the point where you look at a deal and you say, oh, well, $2 million to $12 million, that's definitely one thing. And I get that, $2 million to $12 million. It doesn't take any longer to do a $2 million deal than it does to do a $12 million deal. It's just numbers. And remember, guys, it's not so much the building we're buying, but it is the income stream, which is the cash flow. Same thing. All right? So because we're looking to buy the cash flow, we're looking to get the cash flow, the bigger the numbers that we work with, the more dollars stick to us. And the dollars that we want to stick to us is the monthly cash flow that makes a difference in the way that we move forward. Okay? We're not on a page. So what I want to do is discuss something here with you really quick. So this will put everything into perspective for everyone. We've been spending a lot of time talking about deals. And I know a lot of you will go ahead and jump right out of here and look at your first apartment or your first self-storage or possibly even a mobile home park. But then you have to look and say, well, with land, I know you're saying that you're not loving land because this is cash flow and we want the cash flow. But every once in a while, you look at a project that you just can't pass up. And I want to be able to do a good service to each and every one of you to understand that when good opportunities come through and the deals make sense, we can move forward and get them done. And this is what I'm talking about. How large is too large? How big is too big? Right? How big is too big? Why are there some developers out there taking down these monster projects? All right? People like Trump, people like Wynn, all these big developers, like Perot and Ross and all these people, they're out there and they're doing these deals that are huge, and they're getting them done not with speed and ease, but little to no effort. Because, again, remember I said who likes land? Who likes land? Everybody raises their hand. Yep. Now, the thing about land is this. When you love land, you understand, because the psychology, again, behind it is that we see nothing, and then all of a sudden we see the path of progress. We see growth. And when we see growth, we get excited, because when we see growth and we see buildings, you see things happening and you see cash flow. And you see a lot of cash flow. All right? So this is one of the largest development projects in the U.S. All right? It's the most prime location in the U.S. And it's a no money, no credit deal. Because that's what we're doing here. None of your own money or credit or previous experience. Let me tell you how important this is. Think big like Trump. You have to have incredible terms for a project like this, okay? But let me tell you how powerful this is. First off, I can't give you guys the exact location. Are you okay with that? If I give you a hint, you promise not to tell? Yes. Pinky swear? Yes. Let me see it. All right. I'll give you a hint. All right. What happens in stays in. You got it. All right. Now, who here has been to that spot before? Lately. Lately, though. 6 months. You'd see cranes in the sky. Things are happening, guys. Now, the market tells us that liquidity is drying up across the nation, that all this and all that's happening. I just had my financiers here, and there's no shortage of money. That's not what's going on here, okay? What we are doing is we're focusing on the low-hanging fruit. In your quick start system, there's something called an acquisition criteria. And that acquisition criteria is something that we send out to the brokers and to the sellers. When you send that out to brokers and sellers, and you're putting a little email tagline in there, I'm interested in the property that I just noticed that's on LoopNet, and I want to know if it meets my criteria. Please review my criteria below and get in touch with me as soon as you can. You put the acquisition criteria, cut and paste, and it's sent off. I never spoke with this person, and this was quite some time ago when I sent it. The acquisition criteria went out from one of my bird dogs. They sent it into one of my portals, which I tell them exactly what I'm looking for. I said, if anything this juicy comes through the pipeline, make sure you send it to my email. Just forward it to my email. Pulled up the deal, and I looked at it, and I said, huh. Kind of scrolling through several, came upon this one, and I looked at it, and I said, you know what? This is almost a deal. It's almost a deal. See, a long time ago, when I was flying around looking at property, I spent a lot of time at this place. And I know what dollar per square foot property was selling for on the strip. And I created some good relationships out there with people for the time that I spent. But what I didn't do was move on this particular deal. Instead, never speaking to the broker, never meeting the broker, didn't know who I was, didn't know my name. I sent an email back and I said, this almost meets the criteria, but it doesn't because of X, Y, and Z. Okay? Sent it back. Never heard back from her. Never heard back from her again. Until one day, this deal came through the pipeline. Does this meet your criteria? And there was an attachment. So I look, I'm all, does this meet my, who the heck is this? Didn't know who it was. So I went ahead and opened it up, and it said this: fully entitled and approved land for 3 high-rise towers, 2 condos, and a hotel, and 100,000 square feet of retail. Monster deal. I remember sitting down on my deck in Malibu. Had a little glass of wine. I was hanging out with my laptop. Had my dog sitting there. Ocean view, sunset's coming down. Looking at this deal. Chuckling to myself. Saying, this is a big deal. The heck do I want to get involved with this thing for? What if they gave it to me? What would I do? So I'm sitting back thinking, maybe I make a non-smoking casino. So there it was. I said, look, here's the numbers. Property appraised 2004 as is for $70 million. It's worth more. $1 billion future value. Guys, $1 billion future value. Remember I said don't get big dealitis? Well, I always surround myself around the winners, guys. You know that. All right? I always surround myself around the doers. I always surround myself around the people that make it happen. Lip service, performance. It's all about making it happen. Birds of a feather flock together. Mother told me that when I was 4. Always stuck with me. I've always surrounded myself around the right people, because if you do that and you're around good people like I'm around you people, we talk the same language. And at the end, we will talk the same language, and we will continue to move forward. I just want you to continue to take action. What I did was I consulted with a power figure that I not only look at as somebody from a high point of credibility, but somebody that knows the business because they've been in the business, they've been doing the business, and they've always consistently been active in the business. Okay? You guys ever seen what Trump does when he sits down? He had a TV show and he looked to the right, consulted with George Ross, looked to the left, either his son or daughter's over here, gets different opinions on things. You guys remember that? He always does. Getting opinions are great. And that's what we're here, all right? So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to ask Paul to come up here. You guys know Mr. Paul Fink, right? Let's give Paul a round of applause real quick. All right, buddy. Here, stand over here because we got the PowerPoint right here. Okay. So what I did at this point, sitting back thinking to myself, this is a big deal, is get a second opinion, right? That's what we're here to do, get a second opinion. So what I did was I said, I got to check this out, but as soon as I check it out, I got to consult with somebody that also is in the same caliber, somebody that's there to get deals done with me. I consulted with Paul, and Paul and I shared this with him. The owner owned it for 19 years. He only owed $5 million, guys. Before we walked in here, was $5 million a lot of money? Was it? Still is. But guys, in this equation, look at it. 2004, as is $70 million. It's worth $1 billion future value. The guy's owned it for 19 years. It's almost free and clear. Look it. $5 million is all he owed. That's like chump change, isn't it? Think about that. To retire that debt, that's chump change. There's a couple buildings on the property right now, and these buildings that are sitting on the property are pulling in income that's covering his debt service on the $5 million. Now, I talked to Paul and I said, Paul, don't you think we should move on this? I said, yep, of course. What? It's just a phone call. What's the worst they could do? Hang up? It's not a big deal. Tell us no? Tell us no? Big deal. All right? No problem. Now the owner, he owned it for 19 years. Practically free and clear. Wanted $68 million for it. Originally, $68 million for it. We went in there and I said, look, what we need to do is get the seller on the phone. Paul said, we always get the seller on the phone. I said, yeah, that's the way we do it. So this is what we're going to do. Get the seller on the phone. We're going to go ahead and find out if this is a deal or if it's not a deal. I told the broker, first time I spoke with her, hi, I'm responding to your property that you sent to me. The one where it said, does this meet my criteria? This could meet my criteria, but I want to ask you, can you go ahead and arrange a call with the seller? Put the seller on the phone. All right? She said, I could go ahead and put the seller on the phone, not a problem. I can get him on the phone tomorrow. Is that good enough? I said, that's perfect. We set a time. Broker got on the phone. Seller was on the phone. Now, I thought we were going to jump on the phone. I thought I'd be on the phone with like him and like 5 attorneys, like a pack of wolves ready to rip me apart. You know what I mean? Got on the phone, soft-spoken gentleman, soft-spoken guy. And he said, hi, my name is so-and-so. How are you? I said, wonderful. How are you? He said, great. I said, look, I don't want to waste your time. And I certainly want to be respectful when I say this to you. But I need to know right off the bat if this is going to be something to pursue or not. He said, I really appreciate that. No one's ever approached me in that regard. I said, okay. I said, you owe $5 million on the property. Is that correct? He said, a little bit less. I said, okay. I said, your debt service is currently being covered? He said, yeah. He goes, but this thing is already fully entitled and approved land for 3 high-rise towers, 2 condos, plus 100,000 square feet of office retail and a hotel. He just reaffirmed me that. I said, look, I understand that. I said, would you entertain doing a joint venture? It was a long pause. And he says, can you explain how that would work? Got heart palpitations, almost dropped the phone. I said to him, look, it's real easy. I understand you want $68 million. If you can wait, can you wait? He said, I can wait. I said, okay, your debt service is being covered, right? He said, yes. I said, look, we come in, you contribute the property, we bring in a world-class developer and project management team. That's it. That's how it works. And you're going to go ahead and get a percentage on the back end. Are you okay with that? It's going to exceed $68 million. He said, yeah, that sounds great. Okay? Remember, guys, we're problem solvers, we're facilitators. Now, remember something. There's only $5 million in debt that needs to be taken out on this property. So when it's free and clear, when property's free and clear, it is a developer and a lender's dream. Now you have the keys that unlocks the vault. Okay? That's the way it works. That's the way it works. I was in Vegas about a month and a half ago, and Lisa goes, and I was in the Bellagio, and Lisa goes, Terry, take your head off of the window. You're going to leave a mark. Because I was like this, looking down at the property for a while. And I did. I left a little oil mark on the window, staring right at the property. Guys, this one deal is one that'll knock it out of the park. And understand something. It's created and it's put together by the masterminds and put together with the togetherness of synergy. And it's all about synergy. It's all about the right team. That's what it's about, okay? And I consult with Paul. Paul's there with me. Moving forward now, you got to understand something. We cut ourselves in for a percentage and we step aside. Now we have a free and clear piece of property. Free and clear. No debt encumbered on the property. Cranes in the sky constantly. Okay? And you have to understand something. Even if we only get 5%, because the net profit on this is $580 million. Who here could use an extra $580 million bucks? Guys, understand something. Understand something here. Net profit is 580. Even at 5%, that equals 30 million. Okay? It's all about bringing in the partners and making it happen. 30 million bucks. Heck, that's 10 million to Paul. 20 million to me. Guys, check this out. This is what it's all about. You want to add something to that?
It'll still take care of a few college funds. I think I'm covered.
That's right. You got to look at this, guys. Right here's the site plan, JMA Architect Studios. Here, this is called an elevation. All right, this is the elevation. This is the height. All right. See this right here? You know what's going on right here? Hale, H-A-L-E. Guys, what does Trump have? He's building 2. What does Wynn have? 2. 1, 2, 3.
Which building has which building has my name on it?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, yours is on here too. I just forgot. Right here, that's the back alley. So I guess you get the benefit then.
I don't mind the second building having my name on it. We got to start somewhere.
Yeah, start somewhere.
That's okay, right, guys?
Yeah.
I don't know whether anyone was at dinner with me where I talked about my dream, my legacy. My dream, I had to create a large vision for me to really keep getting up in the morning because I had taken care of college funds, I had taken care of my kids and my family. I needed a reason to keep moving forward and keep getting up in the morning. My vision, my dream, the reason why I do things is to make sure that my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids are proud of what I do today. And remember our name forevermore, and our name is synonymous with the Carnegies, the Rockefellers of the world. This is where it begins, guys. I started this vision and this dream 3 years ago to really keep me moving forward, and this is where it ended up. This is where we're headed. This is where my dream took me. Where's yours going to take you? This is it.
Solid. It's very solid. You guys, it's all about concept to reality, and this right here is the dated appraisal. You can see it's 70 million, and you can see right here, I'm always preaching MAI. Member Appraisal Institute, and it's right there for you. And this is dated back in 2004, December 29th. Got to get the word out, guys. You got to get going now. Get the word out. This is how we're doing it. All right, guys. Get in, get out, get rich.